Well, hello, welcome to Double Talk. I'm Mark Steffen, and sitting next to me is a stranger from the great beyond.
Oh gosh, I just made it in from the coast.
Yeah, he's been on the left coast for a while.
I've been on I'm on the left anyway. Michael Mandel, sitting in for Michael Mandel. What is the point of the show? I can't remember. Was there a point? Oh, there was no point.
It's pointless.
Oh,
as you know, Michael's
I got points for it on good behavior.
Well,
I don't get the points because I'm not behaved well.
All right, Michael's been gone for 3 weeks, and
Yes.
he's back now, so he's a little out of control still.
Yes, unlike before this, when I was totally under control,
Yes.
you had me totally whipped.
Well, yes, and now hopefully you'll get back on your meds.
Yes. Send them in.
Well,
Those of you
anyway,
got extra meds, send them in.
welcome back.
Thank you.
And
I don't know what happened in town while I was gone. Apparently, the same old stuff. And you know, when you go to other towns and you read their papers, you just change the names because the events are the same. You know, people do things.
Same stuff.
California has a drought that's actually worse than our drought.
It is, yes.
And I heard that Santa Barbara, a couple of years ago, when the drought was really bad, a couple of years ago, was starting to do a desalinization plant. And they stopped it because they had a good year of rain.
One good year.
And now they need the water again, but it takes 2 years to ramp it up, and they're not going to have it until 2016.
Right. Well,
meanwhile, all the vineyards are going.
And now they're building one in San Diego, but that's going to take about 8 years.
Yeah, once you get it
for
started.
permitting and all that stuff.
Yes.
So,
but it looks like we have a good year for water here. I mean, better than most, right?
well, one never knows.
It's not on our list of things to talk about, unless you want to show a picture of water.
Well, they just had snow on Thursday this week up in Wyoming, a blizzard with 70-car pileups on the freeway.
Wow, how long does it take those cars to melt? That goes into the. What's that? That has nothing to do. Are you trying to get us to the next subject? Are you hunting?
Yes. Well, no. Speaking of drought, fires occur frequently in droughts, and the Las Cruces Fire Department just got their rating, which was a very favorable rating.
What's a favorable rating? 1. They're the best. Are you reading this?
Well, I was going to
read the thing. It's a little late now to be doing your research.
No, well, I was going to quote some things, but
there's only 97 fire companies rated as high as we are in the country. I read that, and even if I didn't read that, I can make it up, and it sounds good because there's like there's 67,000 fire companies in this country, and we are rated 1.
And it's good because
not the best, but in the rating of 1.
They rate them on how they're dispatched, how proficiently they're dispatched, and their response times to arriving to the fires. They're also rated on their firefighting capabilities and the equipment they use to fight the fires.
And ostensibly, because fire causes damage, our insurance rates should go down, both residential and commercial.
Exactly.
You just watch and see if they go down. Probably something else will come up that will balance it out, that it won't come down.
Right. They also rate how many fire stations we have and their strategic locations and how many fire hydrants are available to fight the fires. So a lot of things go into this rating, and
how well they oil their poles, because the amount of oil they put on their poles, it has something to do with the speed of
descent
coming to your fire.
I see. Well,
yes.
If you want pole dancing, don't go to the fire department.
Why not?
Because they're all on the ground floor.
No, they're not. They slide. What? We don't have a second story?
No.
They don't have a second story?
No poles to slide down.
No poles?
No.
Oh, God. No wonder it doesn't take them that long.
No, so you're right. With such a good rating, the fire insurance rates should be at their lowest amongst cities of our size.
And fire departments don't just do fires, because, what do we have? That's a fire. We have enough of those to catch
fire.
Those
trailers catching fire.
Trailer fires
Once
are
you catch
very
a
big.
Trailer on fire, forget about it.
You know why they catch on fire so much? Because we don't have enough tornadoes to blow them away.
That's why. Blow the flames out.
Yes,
right.
Or to blow the trailers away so they don't catch fire. But not only do they take care of fires, but there's always a fire truck by an accident. And also, if somebody's having a heart attack, there's a fire truck. For a heart attack.
Well, it's like redundancy, because the ambulance crew is sent there to handle a sick or injured person.
I guess if the person's sick and on the second floor, they can carry him down.
Well, I've never seen that happen.
Me neither. I've never heard of it.
The fire department just, They're good. They're good for car wrecks because they're there in case there's a spill of gasoline or oil.
They could explode.
They're also good to help traffic slow down. But
instead of the cops don't have like defibrillators or oxygen masks, but I think probably fire trucks do. So if you call about a fire, be careful because there's been a number of false alarms in this town.
It's true. And the false alarms are high.
And the fireman's going to come, and the cops are going to come,
and if it's a false alarm, you could get fined for it.
False alarms went down in the last.
They've gone down the last couple of years because the city
not enough.
Has initiated a program to see what they could do to cut down the number of false alarms that we're having. And most of these false alarms are due to either equipment error or operator error.
Well, that's about it. Well, or aliens.
Oh.
Isn't that your theory?
No, that's not my theory.
I thought aliens were your theory.
Well, there's a lot of things that cause several things that cause false alarms. Equipment failure, operator error, forgetting the code, you put in the wrong code, or you forget to do the code and you walk in the door. A lot of times people who enter their house from their garage open the door to the house and the alarm goes off. They've forgotten about that. Also, pets wandering around the house can set off motion detectors.
Well, that would be a common thing. Therefore, if you have a pet, don't have a motion detector, obviously, or get some leather straps and bind your pet before you leave the house.
Well, you know, there was a hardware store here in town once, and the alarm kept going off. This is during the summer. The alarm would just go off. It was a false alarm. The cops would show up. There's nobody there. The doors are locked. They'd reset the alarm, and about 40 minutes later, the alarm would go off again. This would happen every night. Finally, one intrepid...
I'm guessing this is a real story.
This is a real story.
Okay.
Finally, one intrepid police officer decided to wait it out and see. He stayed there until the alarm went off again. And he looked in the window, and he saw what happened was they had a big plastic boat hanging from the ceiling that was for sale.
Oh.
The blowers would kick on, and the boat would start to sway. And once it got swaying enough, it would set off the motion detector, and the alarm would be sounded.
If that happens in your house, stop that boat from moving. Fill it with water. It probably won't move as much. That would be good.
Now, the city's finding people for false alarms, residents and businesses. You get 3 warnings. And then the first...
Let's get 2 warnings. The third one,
I think you get fined $100.
Yes, and I think it keeps going up. There were 7,000 false alarms this past year, which is down from the high of 9,000. And then when we hit the 9,000, they started to give the fines, and that got it down to 7, which sounds like a lot. But when you think about there's 7,000 false alarms, only 1% of those is a real alarm. I mean, so you have 7,000 false alarms.
And you have police officers responding to these alarms.
How many days are this year? Like 365 or something?
Like that, yeah.
So there's like, what, 20 false alarms a day?
Right, and...
that's a lot of running around.
And now with these fines in place, the city's collected over $38,000 in fines last year.
That's true, but now there's less cops to give you tickets for going past red lights.
Because they're responding to alarms.
They're alarms, so maybe it's a good thing.
Well, the city says...
Keep your alarm on and screw it up and keep the guys doing false alarms. That way Mark won't get pulled over for going past red lights.
It's costing the city $500,000 to respond to these false alarms. So the $38,000 they're collecting in fines really doesn't help at all, does it?
Well, the government isn't in the business to make money that way.
That's true.
They make it other ways.
Well, yes, like Pete Connolly said.
What Pete Connolly said?
Well, City Attorney Pete Connolly said
that's
that
from years ago.
The vehicle forfeiture law that many police departments have in place.
It's a boon to the economy, to the government, right?
Right. The police department pulls somebody over or they arrest somebody for a crime. They just confiscate the vehicle that the people were using at the time, and they keep it. Whether the person has been found guilty of any crime at all, the person never gets their car back. And Pete Connolly thought, well, that's a pretty spiffy way to get a car. And he mentioned how the Las Cruces Police Department was salivating at the fact that they were going to be getting a brand new Mercedes from some guy they arrested. Thanks to that, they've changed the policy.
Because well, yes, but that's good that there's no forfeiture laws. You know, you used to wonder why I don't have a Maserati, right? That's why.
Was that why?
Yeah, I didn't want to be pulled over and have them take the Maserati.
Speed demon that you are in your Honda.
Yes, and because, hey, they don't call me Ironfoot for nothing. Maybe it's a limp.
Well, so now you have to be at least found guilty of a crime before they can seize your vehicle.
At least found guilty, which, could take a year or two. So what's that car doing? Sitting there getting cobwebs or being driven by cops.
So a lot of times they'll collect a bunch of cars over the year, and then like they did last week, they'll have an auction.
Woo-hoo.
And they'll auction off these cars that they got from drug dealers and drunk drivers and anybody else who got caught and had their vehicle appropriated. So they make all the money from auctioning off the cars.
It's also a good way for you, the citizen, to go and buy a car. The auction happened yesterday, didn't it?
No, 19th, Sunday. Oh, it's on Sunday, isn't it?
Nobody has an auction on that Sunday. Sunday the 19th. Well, if that's true, go check out the auction.
That's
Get
over next to the county building on Motel Boulevard.
You get a chance to look at the cars. I'm in the market for a car.
You can go look at them. You might even be able to start them.
Any Maseratis?
I doubt it. I've bought 2 cars at auction. I once bought a cop car at a city auction.
I remember that.
And I bought a pickup truck too.
That's true. Did you ever get to sell them?
Yes.
Pickup?
I sold the police car for a nice profit, and the pickup truck I had for several years until I sold it last year.
Oh, wow. It's a good business to go into.
You sure?
If you could turn, the turnover stuff. You got to turn them over.
For a profit.
Yes, no reason to turn over for a loss. Unless you just
Unless you're with the government.
Unless you don't need that, yes. No, the government, to take property for free, it's sort of like how COAS makes money in a way. The confiscating books.
The used bookstore. Yeah, you don't get much when you turn in your books.
You give your books in. I don't want to denigrate COAS, but you give them your books. You go buy used books, which are cheap anyway, and they give you a few shekels off.
I took in about, 10 books the other day, and I got more for the paperbacks than I did for the hardbacks.
Really?
Yes. And in total, I got about $5 in credit. They don't give you money for it. They just give you store credit.
That's true. I brought in 4 boxes of books for the temple to donate, and I brought them in. And they said, well, it's going to take a few hours to figure out how much it's worth. Come in, we'll let you know. I went in, they said, I don't know how much it was. I don't know, maybe it's $40 credit. They didn't show me anything. They just had the books and said they gave us the credit.
Number. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not a money-making proposition when you take your books over to COAS.
But then again, who wants books? And you don't want to burn books, and you don't want to hang them, keep them hanging around your house.
Well,
God, I got tons
once you've read the books, there's no reason to hang on to them, and that's just something you refer to on a frequent basis.
You always refer to it. When you talk about certain stories, you say, you remember that guy in that story, and you don't remember the name of the guy in the story? Well, you go to that book. Or you can go to Google.
Well,
Google the guy's name.
I kept all my college textbooks in my
thinking that maybe you'll read them for the first time someday.
Yeah, just the ones in my majors.
How many majors? What'd you have? News or journalism and theater?
Journalism, mass communications, and theater. So that covers a lot.
Mass communication, huh?
Well, that covers radio, television, advertising, newspapers.
But all that changed since you went to school.
Journalism,
That's all different now.
Filmmaking.
You have 30-year-old books, maybe older, and the world has changed since that. So
no, but the process is still the same. But you still write newspaper articles the same way you did 30 years ago.
That's true. You know what they'll be good for? When you get old and shriveled, you could sit on them so you could reach the table.
That's true.
That's a good thing.
And so,
what were we talking about? We just totally lost track. I mean, how did you do this without me? How did you lose track of your topics?
They never would have known that we lost track of what we were supposed to talk about if you hadn't said something.
I like to remark about things that are going on now. Like our shirts are starting to blend into one shirt. Doesn't it look like that? Just like, see? It's all blue. We're going to have to wear different colors. Like if I'm going to be behind or in front of the American flag, I'll have to wear red and white. You'll have to wear yellow.
Maybe we should just go shirtless.
That would be good. We're going pantsless. Why not? Make it a treat.
Let's show the audience it.
Anyhow, we're going to do that. But first, we're going to take a break, I think.
We are going to take a break. It's time for a break.
And now we'll take our pants off.
And we'll be back after these
Here we go.
Words.
Okay.
Attention users of the blood-thinning drug Xarelto. If you or a loved one has been hospitalized or died from serious internal bleeding after taking Xarelto, you may be entitled to significant compensation. Call the Sentinel Group now. Potential claims are being reviewed for users of Xarelto who have suffered severe bleeding or hemorrhaging, stroke, or even death. Our network of experienced attorneys are ready to help fight for you. You won't pay a thing until your case is settled. Call the Sentinel Group now. Don't wait.
Have you or a loved one suffered complications after uterine surgery from the use of a power morcellator? If so, call the Sentinel Group now. You may be entitled to significant compensation. The FDA estimates that 1 in 350 women undergoing a myomectomy or hysterectomy have unsuspected sarcoma or cancer in the uterus. The Sentinel Group's experienced network of attorneys have years of experience fighting big medical companies and is ready to fight for you. So if you've developed uterine cancer, call the Sentinel Group now for a free confidential consultation.
Listen up, America!
The price of life insurance has gone down 60% over the last 15 years. Many Americans know they need it, and some that have life insurance know they don't have enough. How would your family get by without you? How are you planning for the uncertainties of life? Find out how easy it is to protect the ones you love. The quote is free, and there are no obligations. Listen up, America. Call now.
Fiesta Motors.
Come and see us today and discover why our service is second to none. In business for over 17 years, we have the right car for you. When you buy a vehicle from Fiesta Motors, we do everything possible to ensure your satisfaction. Located at the corner of El Paseo and Main. See you there.
Celebrate Fiesta Motors, where buying a car is always a celebration.
An important message for Americans in need of health insurance. If there's been a recent change in your life, you are eligible for immediate protection under the Affordable Care Act. If you're uninsured because you missed the enrollment deadline, we can help. To get the protection you need, you can visit the Healthcare Exchange and spend hours exploring your options. Or you can make a single call to Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you at no cost or obligation.
Call the number on your screen now. Operators are standing by. Get the coverage you need. Call now.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a medical alert. If you or a loved one took Zofran while pregnant for morning sickness or nausea, and your baby was born with a birth defect, call us immediately.
Call 1-800-953-0860.
You and your child may be entitled to compensation. Zofran taken during pregnancy may increase the risk of heart defects, cleft lip, cleft palate, and other birth defects. Call us now for a free confidential consultation.
Call 1-800-953-0860. 1-800-953-0860.
We're back.
Yes, we're back. We just talked about Palm Springs, you know.
Yeah.
Palm Springs is a great place.
Was it hot?
It was nicely warm. It was very pleasant. So, you know, and I assume that the weather was similar to here, or we were similar to Palm Springs. They're a little warmer than we are.
They are, especially in the summertime.
God, you can't live there in the summertime.
I was there one August. I think that's the hottest I've ever been outdoors.
Like
was
110,
Palm Springs.
really?
It was just unbearably hot.
That's what they say. You can go there. But people live there all year round. You just have to have. Everybody has a pool in their backyard. If you ever look on Google Earth, and they have houses that are 1,200 square feet.
Yes.
And then there's the pool
outside.
Everybody's got a pool.
Right.
It's fine. It's fine.
And they all have their own golf courses.
Yes, in their backyard.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use somebody else's. We were talking about bars in Palm Springs. Really good bars. In fact, we were at a bar that Sinatra used to go to called the Purple Room. Small room, I'd say. Well, you can't see what kind of room we're in here, but it's small, a little bar, and they're still singing.
And don't tell me it was purple.
No, I don't know. I didn't notice the color. Why would you say that? It was just called the Purple Room. Because that was the name of the guy.
Oh,
Mr.
Joe
Purple.
I see.
Yes, he purpled. Did you want to talk about anything about Las Cruces? Meanwhile, because although we are seen in Palm Springs, you know.
We could be, yes. We're on YouTube worldwide, so you know anybody in Palm Springs could watch this show.
Yes. Hi, Alan and Al, if you're watching this show.
And
guys we know.
Well, you know, there is something going on this next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend are Railroad Days in Las Cruces over at the Railroad Museum, which used to be the old Railroad Depot. here in Las Cruces, right next to the tracks.
I thought the railroad was dead. Do you think it's going to be a comeback? There should be a comeback.
Well, Grand Funk Railroad might make a comeback, but I doubt it.
God, I get rid of my albums. I had that big red album.
I have them. I have 4 of their albums.
Yeah,
at
the
least.
first album, that's one I had, and I said, this. I think I threw it away. I said, that was horrible.
I was a big Grand Funk fan, by the way. But anyway.
You are. That's where we differ. That's the only thing we've ever differed on. Grand Funk Railroad.
Grand Funk. I like the earlier stuff.
Was Joe Walsh in that?
No.
What was Joe Walsh in?
The Eagles?
No.
The James Gang?
The James Gang.
Yeah.
Those two, James Gang and Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah, they were contemporaries. No, but the 24th and 25th of April is the Railroad Days down at the Railroad Museum. Now they're going to have the caboose there that they have. They have. If you've ever been inside, it's a big model railroading setup.
We have been
with trains
inside.
running around. They're also going to have the Harvey Girls reenactors.
Well, they'd
You
have
know
to
what
have
the
the
Harvey
reenactors.
Girls are, right?
Yes. They were the girls who were the waitresses.
Waitresses in the train stops along the way at the Harvey houses.
And there was a movie about the Harvey Girls.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
There
know
was a
why.
documentary about it.
It's because they weren't like geisha girls, I believe.
No, they were not allowed.
They were not allowed to fraternize
with the customers.
Were they allowed to sororicize?
Yes, they did.
Oh, okay.
In fact, if you've
With
ever,
each other.
If you've ever been to Belen, New Mexico, there is a Harvey Museum there.
Yes.
And they tell you the history of the Harvey Girls. They actually lived there on the premises upstairs. And they would come down when the trains would arrive to serve the customers.
It makes your ride more
It does, back in the good old days of train travel.
We met friends in California that took the train from Albuquerque to Paso Robles, actually.
California.
And they enjoyed it a lot. And it seems to be,
I love
we
train
also have
travel.
friends from Las Cruces who like to travel all over with the train.
I love it.
It's not bad. And you go into metropolitan centers, which
Yes.
is where everything is happening anyway, sometimes.
Well,
and it's
I have a bone to pick with the
you have a bone to pick?
I do. You know, my pet peeve.
You don't eat
You know,
beef.
the bus service here, it's the El Paso, Los Angeles limousine service.
Oh, yes.
They're big buses. It's the Mexican bus company.
Yes, which is good.
And you can catch it here in Las Cruces or El Paso, and it takes you, it goes as far as Denver. Now, if you take the trip just from Las Cruces to Albuquerque, it's $56. If you want to go 60 more miles to Santa Fe, you have to pay the rate to Denver.
I've done that.
It's doubled.
I've done that.
It's double. So
You have no choice.
But if you got off in Albuquerque, I think you can jump on the rail runner. It's $8 to get to Santa Fe.
That would be a great idea.
It would be, except this bus doesn't drop you off anywhere near the railroad station.
So you got to take a taxi for another 24
You
bucks.
would.
Yeah.
Now you can take the Greyhound, I guess. That would drop you off at the bus station because that goes right downtown to the train station. Bus
Or
station, same thing.
On your phone, that's an iPhone, which
Yeah.
both of us don't have. We're
No.
the two
We have
people
dumb phones on
in the
purpose.
world that don't have iPhones. You could get on your iPhone and do Uber.
You could Uber it.
Has anybody used Uber here? Have you talked to anybody in town?
Here?
There is Uber.
It's in El Paso.
No, they're trying to get Uber.
They're
yes. trying to.
Oh.
I know a lot of people that
not here
can
yet.
do it. You know what Uber is, everybody. It's
one of the new.
It's an app
taxi.
on your phone, and it gets people with cars to pick you up and take you someplace else. We used it once again in LA. It's great. We were, you could be lost, and they'll come and find you.
It's a GPS.
Yeah, they're great.
Right.
Anyway.
Now, also, the same weekend as the Railroad Days, we have the Big Country Music Festival right here in Las Cruces, featuring opening night Friday. Kenny Rogers will be here. The great Kenny Rogers.
Oh, did he die?
Not yet.
Oh, because, I don't know, we're not onto the dead people yet.
No.
A lot of people don't know that Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers Friday nights, downtown, on stage, live, and in person. And we also have some
Was he working as
many other people.
A maid in a hotel? Didn't he have a song, You Got to Know When to Fold Them?
That's
thought it was
from the
about
Gambler.
sheets. Oh, the Gambler.
The Gambler.
I thought he was folding sheets. You got to know when to fold them.
And he also has his own chain of restaurants, Kenny Rogers Roasters. Chicken, rotisserie chicken.
Is that in the South, or where is that?
Mike, remember they had one.
Where is it?
When we went to Vegas, they had one in the parking lot.
In the parking lot?
It
Circus
It
or
was in
someplace?
the Kmart parking lot. They built it there.
Oh, God.
Remember we went to that casino owned by Larry Barty's friend owned that bar?
Oh, yeah. That was kind of out of town.
Yeah, it was in the north end of there was a Kenny Rogers Roasters right there, too. That's how I first heard about it.
And you've heard about it since.
I've
Huh?
never eaten there.
Anyway, Kenny Rogers is an icon. I mean, he's really got some big hits.
Oh my goodness!
He
Yeah,
is
for 40 years he's been doing it.
He's amazing.
Also, there'll be some other performers there like Dustin Lynch. He's very up and coming.
Dustin Lynch, yeah.
Yeah, we've also got Bree Bagwell, local
How's
girl.
he up and coming? Because they lynched him?
He's got...
Because they lynched him up? Is that how he's...
He's been getting some hits out there.
Oh, good.
Bree Bagwell from Las Cruces.
Yes, she's here a lot.
Yeah, she performs at Whiskey Dick's, and she's going to be at the festival. So that's going to be a big deal for 2 nights. Hopefully it's not too windy.
Aha. Make your reservations, where did we say? At the Main Street Bistro?
Main Street Bistro.
Because then you could sit there at the bistro.
Also at the Convention Visitors Bureau. You can get
What?
tickets.
Oh, you can get tickets there?
Yep. Yep. And
otherwise, you could do the thing that spies do, which is jump on a roof and then jump in.
And if you see Michael and I there, come up and say hello. Also, Saturday night, tonight at 7 o'clock at the Rio Grande Theater, you can see Tamez.
Who?
Tamez. That's her last name. She's a Mexican singer with a great voice. And she'll be there singing on stage.
Isn't there also what else we got there?
Maria Luisa Tamez.
Isn't there some other thing? Oh.
We also have Mummified Deer.
Mummified Deer
which is a play. They're doing it over at the East Branch of the Community College.
Yes.
Today at 2 o'clock.
I read the play. It's interesting, let's say.
Okay, yeah.
Mexican.
Luis Valdez wrote the play. We also have...
What else?
Well, there's pet adoptions today until 1 o'clock downtown.
But more music. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock at Rio Grande Theater. There's that Scrap Arts, Raw Energy.
Right.
And of course...
Bob Marley Bash tribute Sunday at the Grapevine. That's going on.
That's from 2 to 7. Yeah. So it's about the same time.
Now, let me get back to the dogs and cats.
Okay, dogs and cats.
Until 1 o'clock today downtown.
I guess I strayed from the topic.
Petco until 3 o'clock today. That's at 3050 East Lowman. Adoptions are going on all day. And then coming up on the 25th of April is the big Mutt Show. That's at 10 a.m. And
it just occurred to me.
What's that?
The Mutts. They occurred.
Did they?
Yeah.
And so, the Bob Marley Bash, that's 2 o'clock at from 2 to 7 out at the Grapevine on West Picacho Street.
There is no East Picacho. Is there an East Picacho?
There is East Picacho.
A little bit, just a little bit. Anyway, what else? Bob Marley. And, we'll talk about this next week. La Frontera. We have the picture up there.
Yeah, La Frontera's leaving town.
Leaving town.
Thank you,
after it was stuffed into our state. It squished itself out. And what a great fiasco.
What a great fiasco.
Who takes the blame for that? We will let you know who takes the blame next week.
And until that time, that's all the time we have. Right here on Double Talk.
Ooh.
So welcome back,
also,
Michael.
I take my... Thank you. And which one were you? Are you Alice? No? You're Mark?
I'll get back to you on that one.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us right here on Double Talk.
Bye.